Good day, good evening, good night, and happy 2019. And welcome to our 137th podcast. Happy new tennis year 2019, name of this podcast. And before I go any further, let me just say to Andreen that I got the number correct and clear. Starting off the new year, good. I'm not going to be guessing and vague about this. So, there you have it.
I like how
New
proactive
year,
you are.
new year, new thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So before I go any more, further, I have to introduce my co-hostesses with the mostesses. We have Andreen from Solely Tennis Travels. With an S.
God, you're getting everything right so far. Plenty of time to fuck it up.
I'm so happy you can't see my face right now. How are you doing, Andreen? What's going on?
I'm really good. You know what I did? I went through my closet and pulled out clothes that I'm going to take on my next trip. I pulled my suitcase out, getting ready already.
Already? Wow, that's impressive.
I am so glad you can't see my face now because I'm just like, this bitch better not be saying, I'm going to Australia and trying to rub it in our faces. But you know what?
No, I'm like, this is like a thing my sister makes fun of me, but I'm a super early packer.
You don't buy new outfits before you go?
Oh no, I bought all the new outfits.
Oh my god, you're so not gay. Because you know the gay man shot before, like the day before, right? Like having the flight 6 o'clock, or I have to run into town.
I use my
shop
birthday
12
money.
o'clock.
I use my birthday money, and I secured some things in the Christmas rush sale.
I'm horrible at packing. I try to take the whole house. Then I get to the airport, I have to pay extra. But anyway, I've learned my lesson. It won't be happening. I could take that money to buy something else really important.
Honey, I'm a carry-on lady too. I try never to check a bag. So
wow.
You see, you're not gay because you never know you might have an outfit you might need to go somewhere. You cannot be caught unawares. You just can't be.
Okay? Oh, wow.
I'm not going to the bush, so I think if something happens, I can go to a Gap.
Exactly. It's because you're not going to the bush. Because if you were going to the bush, you could do carry on. You just need 2 outfits. But because you're going to city area,
that she needs, she can go buy.
Exactly.
I don't believe in that. I need you because I have it at home. That drives me insane. I left that shit at home and I have to go buy it here. Anyway. And of course, we have Janina from Foreign, Ohio. How are you, girl?
I'm good, I guess.
Well, that sounded hesitant.
I know, right?
Happy New Year.
Whatever. The one from Debbie Downer. Like, ooh, back up the juju for the new year, like. And of course, it's Real, the homosexual for the podcast. And before I go any further, let me just say I'm excited that this is our 5th season, our 5th year.
Oof.
On the air. I know we are a big boy and girl. So we're no more toddlers. So I guess we'll leave that behind with the Labour Cup.
Okay.
So, and I'm excited to have these 2 ladies still with me. This is my longest relationship.
Really?
I know. I'm gay. Did I not mention that? I'm gay. So,
brutal.
I mean.
Oh my
this is like a whole lifetime right now.
Is this in dog years or no?
even if we were counting in astrological terms, it's still
oh my god.
But anyway, welcome. So, are y'all ladies excited for the 2019?
I kind of am. I think so.
Ooh.
I'm excited that I watched tennis and I enjoyed it. I was a little bit nervous.
I mean, people, let me just say something. This is a new year and this is a brand new thing for Janina. She watched tennis and she proudly claimed that at the very top of the show. I mean, generally just like, I got nothing. So, be prepared, people. 2019 is going to be different. Don't know if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's definitely going to be different.
Yeah. I don't know how I managed to do a tennis podcast so much and watch so little tennis at times.
I know. And you got cable.
No excuses.
I know, right? But no, it was a pleasant surprise. Like, I found myself doing things that I used to do that I haven't done in a while, like making sure I get up and turn the TV on while I'm getting ready for work to see who's playing and how's it going, and actually being drawn to it, not going, oh God, I don't really want to watch this. But
and it's happening in future time. You see, future time does help you.
yeah, a little bit, not always, but it's been nice. It's been nice. It's a pleasant little surprise so far of 2019. How are you?
Who, me, you, or Andrine, you?
You, Reels, you.
Oh, I'm okay. I watch tennis as usual. I mean, like, I have no chick now, no child, so you know.
Sad about it.
Yeah, right.
I am unbothered. I could get up in the middle of the night to decide I want to watch some tennis, and I just did that. You know what I mean? I watch Hopman Cup. I watch Brisbane. You know.
Stop showing off. Let's move on.
But you know what? But to my credit, I didn't watch the Indian tournament, so I don't think anyone did.
Well, some people did.
Your family?
I watched the trophy ceremony.
I'm telling you, folks, this is a brand new thing. Look at Janina. That's growth right there. That is growth right there.
Let's talk about it. So let's talk about it. What was the place of it called? I don't want to say it wrong. You say it wrong.
I mean, you're gonna have me try to say it right. I think here's the problem. Oftentimes, my tennis results is in French, so I don't know if I'm saying it if it exists in English. This is the English word. I swear to God. So it tells me it's Pune. I guess this used to be the old Chennai ever since Stanley left Chennai.
Oh, is that what this is?
Yes, this is the one that replaced that.
Yeah.
I was unaware.
This is where Stanley often found his form.
Yeah.
But apparently,
I hope you know.
Since he found Donna, he has forgotten about Chennai.
Okay.
Well, apparently, if people were actually going to go out into the world and did some touristing, you could have found Gandhi's ashes here.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. Why do you know that?
Because I like to plan trips. And another thing I want to let you know, that if we were going to travel there, it would take us 21 hours.
Okay. Clearly you have investigated. Okay.
And it was formerly called Pune, which I think I like that better.
See? Because in French it's Pune.
I'm not going to say anything about what that might be.
Pum pum shorts?
It's Pune.
We'll stick with pum pum shorts. So
okay.
That tournament was tall versus taller. In the end, right?
In other words, which was exciting versus exciting.
Well, apparently, I didn't see any of the actual tennis. Kevin Anderson won the tournament against Ivo Karlovic. But I don't know if it was the tournament director or whatever. I'm going to assume it was the director because he was, he was thanking everyone in India. Fucking everyone, man. It went on and on and on. And then it went on some more.
Is this like the corporate Kia Motor sponsors at the Australian Open? Because
let me tell you something. It was worse. It was worse. It was worse. At one point, I was like, what is going on? Is this even a trophy ceremony? Because I literally turned my TV on to it when it was happening. And I was just like, is this like some extended infomercial? Because he kept just like talking about all of these people that and bringing them on and giving them flowers. And but when he finally did get to the presentation of trophies, and I realized that this was indeed a trophy presentation, he said that this was, one of the greatest. That I think he said the third set was maybe one of the greatest he'd ever seen, and I thought I find that really hard to believe.
You're like, I think you need to see more tennis.
I mean, it was Ivo Karlovic. I mean, you know what? I think probably, if I'm not mistaken, there were breaks of serve.
Really? Because I mean, at this point, I didn't even know the score line, and I'm like, it had to just be a bunch of aces and a tie break. Like, I'm thinking, what else?
I was wrong. There were no breaks of serve.
See?
So, I think it was just being kind of. I think it was between a shade to being like, Stanley, get your ass back here, because it would have been sure as hell more interesting if your ass were in the final.
Let me tell you, the best part was he introduced Ivo. And I felt really sad for Kevin Anderson at one point because every time he talked about Ivo Karlovic, the crowd just started chanting, Evo, Evo. And I thought, well, what are they going to chant when he talks about Kevin Anderson? Nothing. Polite hand clap, total golf clap. I was like, oh shit, and he won.
I mean, I suspect it's because Kevin Anderson didn't have his dog on the court, because that's the most interesting thing about him.
I don't know, but they did not show him the love like they showed Dr. Evo,
of course,
for sure. But he introduced Karlovic as the oldest man to ever be in the final.
Well, trust me, men do not get sensitive about those things unless you're gay.
You know what? It was awkward. He didn't even smile when he said it. Evo didn't smile when he was introduced that way. I think he found no amusement to that whatsoever. It wasn't good.
Evo would be a really interesting person to interview. I'm sure he would be. Honestly, I'm not just saying that to be shady, but I really think he would be. And he could bring his lovely wife on. That would be cool.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
So what else happened, Janina? Since you are the score lady today, you're the stat girl. You're the stat girl today. Stat girl.
So there was also a tournament in Shenzhen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good girl.
Yay. So all I can really tell you about that is because it was airing on Tennis Channel Plus, but they want to try to get you to buy that, so they show you little tiny bits and pieces. And they kept jumping from tournament to tournament, and I was like, wait, that's Vera Zvonareva, and she was in a semifinal, and it was great. And then she started having a meltdown and beating her racket on the ground, and then she was crying on the changeover, and I was like, wait, is this like 2005?
I thought she said she was not going to do this anymore because she had a baby. Like she was.
Well, she did, and it was great. I loved to see it. And she ended up retiring. So it was total old style Beppa. It was great. I was happy though to see her back in a semifinal, even though listen, nobody was there. Nobody. There was
I know that is true.
And the courts looked like they looked like practice courts. They were together. It was weird.
I think there was an issue because it was back-to-back schedule. They had to play multiple matches.
Well, the weather was really shit.
The weather was really shitty, so they were having problems with that. But it is true. I mean, WTA, if y'all are willing to quote Asian money, I'm all fine with that. Go where the money is. But for God's sake, y'all cannot be putting these top ladies in these empty stadium. I saw one of Sabalenka's matches, and I was like, Jesus Christ! It's just only her crew is here, really.
You would find more people at a high school tennis match than you would at that semifinal in Shenzhen. I mean,
girl, you could find more people at a gas station at midnight. I'm telling you.
You are correct. There was nobody there. It was.
Give away free tickets. Something.
At least ask the people who are there to move down to the front row so it looks like maybe somebody's there.
Oh, you know what? Pay them to just follow the camera wherever the camera is zooming in, and just have them there and have the camera take a tight shot in. I mean, CGI something. Come on now.
It was bad.
I mean, goddamn, people, it doesn't look cute. I mean, it shows that get school children in there. They might not be paying attention, but they'll be making a whole lot of noise, and that's how you really need.
You gotta hear music from like I don't know where it was coming from. Maybe someone's house. I don't know. So yeah, that happened. That tournament happened. What else happened? There was Auckland.
Ooh, which got awkward.
Why?
Because one of our, I don't know why Venus showed up there, because they showed their ass.
They love her there. That's why.
But they showed their ass in 2017, and Reels is bitter and petty. Remember when she and Serena showed up, and Serena just, I need to get the fuck out of here. It's hot. It's like,
oh yeah, I do remember that. I do
remember that.
But the fans
got the fact that Serena was having a baby, but they were like, they had no issue dragging her ass. Right? Serena was pregnant and she was over Auckland, like from the jump. There is no Hawkeye. There is just like, what is this place? 1990? Like, she was over it. And they shade, and Venus lost subsequently, like the next day, I think. But it's true, they do love her in Auckland. And she turned back the clock, so she had a lot of she won 2 matches.
I heard she looked really good. I didn't get to see her play.
Are we talking about the outfit or just playing tennis?
Her tennis.
It's by looking good mean Venus taking the long way to winning a match. Is that what we kind of say? Looking.
No.
But you know what? She didn't double fault. There were significant matches. She played 2 matches and she didn't double fault. So thank God for small miracles. And she didn't lose. So there is that.
She didn't lose what?
Because last year she started off with losses.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So people, her fans, and I am one of those people, rejoice, but the outfit didn't look cute. I'm just saying, people, let's be honest.
But
let us be one.
So you know what was did you see the picture that some foreign press used when Caroline lost? Did you see it?
No, I did not.
Oh my God. So it wasn't current. It was not from that match. I don't know when it was from, but she looked really, really, really young. And she's sobbing and she's like ugly crying.
Why do people hate Caroline Wozniacki? I mean,
I don't know. But that picture was so shady.
I don't know. I just think it's a bit of Diva Doll fans who are just holding on to that when she did that fake out. When Diva Doll fainted at the Australian at the US Open, people just hold a grudge for far too long. But I mean, she might be someone having a little bit more interesting things to say in the podcast, in the press conferences. So they should show a little bit more love. Just saying. But she had an early round exit, I think.
I don't know when she lost, but she lost to the girl that beat Venus as well. So she's this Canadian girl, whatever her name is. She's the next big thing.
Bianca
Andreescu. What is it? I don't know.
That is Romanian.
Which means that
it was the Romanian press that
which means that she's going to be the new Canadian hopeful, right? Even though Jeannie Bouchard was kind of okay and looks to be probably headed to a solid little season for herself again. But now
she's over her concussion now
and stole her joy. The Canadians can only focus on one Canadian person at a time.
Yes, that is true.
Where's Milos?
They threw Milos over really quickly when Shapovalov came in. They're like,
I know.
Oh, that's right. Well, because Milos is so boring. That's why.
So we'll see how Bianca does.
She did well this tournament. Whatever.
Got to the final. I lost to your girl,
Gerges.
I thought, you know what? I thought she was on the way to winning too, because Gerges lost the first set and she was up a break. And then I think I went to bed at when Bianca got it back to 4-all, and I was like, screw this. This is probably over.
Okay, you need to answer this honestly. Did you think she was on her way to winning because you thought she was going to win and she was playing well, or because you thought Gerges was, going to just pull a Gerges and we don't trust her all the time in finals?
No, you know what? Because she was playing well and she had beaten bigger and better players, and
right.
So there's no reason
she'd beaten the names. She'd beaten the names.
Yeah, so there's no reason for her to be intimidated by Gerges, and Gerges was getting outplayed. So I was like, well, and then when Gerges was up a break, I was like, okay, maybe she's going to take this match back. She's going to take it under control and then push it to a third. And okay, Gerges, but then when Gerges lost the break, I was like, maybe maybe Bianca's going to take care of this too. So I was
an amazing week
when I woke up and she had done it in 3. I was like, okay, Gerges, look at you.
Yeah.
But you know what it made me think of? Remember, I don't know. Do you guys remember maybe it was 2 years ago, a very tall, I think, redheaded American went on this amazing run. I think in one of the Aussie tournament, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, this is her year!" And I don't think we've ever heard from her again because
I don't remember a redheaded.
I don't know who that is. I think you're making that up, Andre. And I'm just gonna put it out there.
I want receipts.
I'm so exactly.
It was actually a dream she had.
A redheaded American playing tennis?
Surely we would remember that.
Exactly.
Cut it out.
You know what? Chad will let us know. If Chad doesn't know this,
she doesn't exist. If Chad doesn't know it, wait. Is she black?
No.
No,
Chad would know her.
Chad would know her. Chad knows all the American players. He does.
American black players. Get it right.
No, that's not true. He does like vanilla sometimes. I'm telling you. We should not be disparaging a friend of our podcast, but he follows the American players religiously. It's just that the most exciting, interesting ones are typically players of color.
Oh my gosh.
That's just the way it is.
What a claim. What a claim.
I mean, really.
But okay, did you get what?
And there's Tommy Paul. Just putting it out there.
I don't know who that is either. Who did she lose to? Who was it?
Who?
Oh, Kyrgyz. Where was what's her name? Sabalenka?
Sabalenka was in Shenzhen.
Shenzhen. Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait, just backing up then real quick. Did you actually see her?
Sabalenka?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see her physically?
Yes, I did.
Is she not bigger and stronger than she was?
Okay. Thank you. Because I just gotta say, I saw her in real life person US Open. She didn't have much of a booty. But I saw her in Shenzhen.
I saw her in Cincinnati.
Popping there.
I saw her in Cincinnati, and she is buff as hell. I mean, she is like a solid piece of muscle. She's fit as fuck. However, she looks bigger.
You have a problem with that or no?
No, just a little curious because it hasn't been that long since I seen her in person, and she looks significantly bigger. I mean, I saw her in August. It's January.
She's been working out.
She's been working out. Let's just for now. Let's just say, and I mean, like she tasted glory last year. I mean, like she feel like she was right on the cusp of being, like in the thing because I mean, she kind of had Naomi on the ropes at the US Open, kind of. Just Naomi was playing
she could have won that match.
She could have won that match. Sabalenka could have won that match. So she felt like she was, and she had a really good summer last year. She was winning matches, and if it's one thing we know, Tursunov is in her corner, and he has supreme confidence.
Oh, that's who that is.
Yes.
Her coach. Okay, I was like, who is that guy? He looks so familiar.
And
why does he have all that hair?
I don't know.
Hot is the way that I would describe it, but all right. Anyways,
okay.
Stop getting distracted.
I don't have to fight you for him too. But
no, you know what? You really don't.
Good.
You really don't.
Miss Paola Lorenzi. Okay.
Shut your mouth.
But
all right. So, anyways, there was also Brisbane.
Oh, I think I remembered her name now. I was thinking about it. It was Samantha Crawford. Remember?
No. She's not a redhead. She's mixed. I'm almost sure. She's white and Asian.
But she had a really nice run. I think in the 2016 US Open, not US Open, like Canadian Australian Open summer, and I was like, oh yeah. So for some weird reason, it just popped up in my mind that like
weird.
That
no
is like this
Janina, year. You see what I hear here? She's trying to give us a 6 for 9. There was no redhead ever.
It wasn't red. She wasn't red.
Just pulling out of nowhere.
Yeah, where did that part come from, Andrew?
I don't know where. In my mind, I saw her as redhead, but no, she's got actually a brunette. But I remember.
Down here.
No, I remember her having a really good Australian Open summer, and everybody's like,
and then she rolled up and
she's gonna go, and I don't think she
up and then got her ass beat. I think it was badly too.
I don't think it was bad, but I just remember people expected a lot from her, and it didn't quite translate. So I'm hoping for better things.
Okay.
From Andrenescu. Yeah, because I mean, let us be honest, right? I mean, Heather Watson has won Hobart a couple of times, and that don't mean nothing.
Oh,
so
let's not be mean. All right.
So Brisbane, we had the Pliskova who makes money, as Real calls her, as the female.
I didn't call her that. You see, why y'all be tracking Reels?
It wasn't you who was. It was Andreen. Andrew.
It was Andreen.
Cut it out.
I don't think I ever said that, but
you said the one who doesn't make money.
Oh, I thought it was the one who does make money that won.
No, this is the one who makes money, but that's how she distinguished the Pliskova sisters.
Oh.
She doesn't say Kapliska or like Kipliska. She's
really the one or Chris Pliss, but
she's
the one that doesn't make money. But Koplis
is Carolina Pliskova. Is that the one? Is her name Carolina?
Yeah,
I don't know. We call her Koplis so much, but yeah, she won. Did Kei Nishikori win?
Yes, finally.
Yes, he did.
I don't know how I feel about that because, given that his body is made of glass, when he does
Girl,
so
you
well
take
at
K
the
week to
beginning.
week. You do not try to give K any sort of like long term thing. You take
But is
him
this going to
week
be
to
like
week.
he peaked too soon?
No, you know what? It doesn't even matter because
How did he look?
Thank you, Andre.
He's
I'm
been in
far-
9. He's been in 9 finals and then lost them. Remember? He was just having a horrible time. I mean, he was rivaling Monfils in these finals.
Oh God. So for me, though, the far more interesting thing about Brisbane is the return of Berdych and Tsonga.
No, well, Tsonga for sure in Brisbane. Berdych, where's Berdych?
Berdych somewhere else?
Yeah, Berdych is somewhere else.
Oh, see, that's why I don't even care.
No, but it's okay.
About
Tsonga's return. Tsonga looks
Did
good.
you get to see him play?
Yes, I did. I did see him play the semifinal.
Okay, I need an honest answer. Because I saw him too, and I'm struggling with, does he look a little chubby or is he more muscular? Because he kind of had man boobs.
He's a daddy now, okay? We gotta forgive him. But
I need to know what it was. He looks good.
Honestly, I don't know. Maybe it was rage because I was annoyed with his play and I didn't even check out his body.
How could you not notice the man boobs?
I know. Because I really thought that, and what was distracting me, honestly, Medvedev has a comb over and he's probably 20. Like, the fuck, dude? A comb over. You're like 20.
Listen.
Like, just like Rublev. Like, why are these Russian young men having these comb overs? Like, why is this a thing?
Meldonium makes you lose hair.
I'm just like, that was distracting me. But the thing about it was just that he was supposed to win. He had that match. He was up a break. He was up 3-love in the opening set, in the first set. Then, and I was like, okay, Tsonga came out to play. Like, he's gonna take over this match. Then he started making these reckless, stupid errors, and then he started getting frustrated. And then Medvedev was just like, okay, all I gotta do is just sit here, right, and just put the ball back over. He's gonna fuck it up every single time.
But isn't that what Tsonga does?
Well,
lately.
True, but I mean, like, that was probably, you could say, it's because of fitness issues. But then, I mean, he got into the tie break. He was started to lead, and then I think he had like 2-3 set points. And then, of course, he did all of the things wrong, like everything wrong. And then Medvedev just basically, I wouldn't even say he stole it. He was gifted that match. Medvedev just stayed solid. And I don't know whether it was the excitement of being in this position that, Tsonga probably smelled, success.
A final.
Because he really has been having a shitty last year. Yeah, he got nervous or whatever the case may be, because he did look fit. It looked like there wasn't anything bothered by him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't look like it was an injury, it was nagging injury. He just played some shitty tennis at the wrong point.
But you know what? I mean, this is one of those moments, right? Because this is what they say when you haven't played tennis for a long time, right? You just
gotta get match fit, right?
Fit, like, but in this case, probably mentally fit, like making the right choices. And Tsonga always struggled with that, even when he was fit, right? But it's nice. I think what's interesting about Tsonga is he's like, we've got a couple players who are returning who are really kind of conscious of the fact that this might be their last year, and they're sort of talking about how they're explicitly saying that they don't know how long this is going to last. I think the other person you forgot to mention, Janina, is Andy Murray.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about
we all forgot about him. But Andre, that's a good save. That's a good save for your fake redhead. A good save.
My gosh. So I did not see him play because, unfortunately, he just didn't last long, right? He lost right away.
Yeah, he lost. Medvedev actually took him out, which I thought was a kind of a given.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody is expecting much from Murray right now.
Oh, really? Maybe on my timeline.
You shouldn't be. I mean, if you are, you're
but on
silly,
my timeline,
silly, right?
Well, you can't tell them that.
Well, true, but I mean, he's been away for so long; it's going to take him a while to get back. What I did notice from pictures that I saw, my God, is he thin?
Yeah, but they all are
so thin. Well. Maybe I'm not used to shirtless Murray pics. I don't know.
Well, no one is. I think we need to.
I mean, just like his face. I'm like, dude, are you on the Nole diet?
But you know what?
He's willing to try anything at this point, really, isn't he?
Well, you know, I think I was thinking about that. I was thinking like this is a person who had a knee and a back issue. So weight loss is probably a prescription, right? Like make sure that you are not carrying as much weight around.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, I guess.
You know, for somebody like that. And also, can I just make a public service announcement that I don't think we need to see shirtless Murray pictures that much, but
no, he's far too pale.
But that's the only way he's gonna
I don't know if I can tell him that because nobody loves to take off his shirt and show itself in training. Like, dude, what's this about? Like,
Murray had a tan. I'd be all for those shirtless Murray pictures. He's got like nice abs and stuff. He, you know, he has a nice body, but
Murray just reminds me of beans and toast. No, not interested.
Well, that's perfect. That's perfect for his where he comes from. No, but, you know, I didn't miss Andy Murray in particular per se, but you know, I know his fans did, and so their excitement was kind of infectious. So
was it?
Yeah, I mean. Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
I'm not.
I'm trying to be better than Andy Murray.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing for me.
I like Andy Murray.
I mean, look. I don't know if I don't like Andy Murray or if actually I am indifferent to Andy Murray, right? But you know what? He's not gonna say any racist, sexist thing. So there is that safety involved, as far as we know, right? I mean, he always picked the lowest hanging fruit. You know, I mean, like women are people too. Yeah, Serena got multiple gold medals. Yeah, you know, he's the tennis guru, right? We just need to verify something, whatever. What I do not like is the cause celeb around Andy Murray, like he is the feminist fatale for the world, right? We have women issues.
You can't help that.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing I find interesting about these, you know, these champion for the cause Murrays, Andy Murray for the ally. They're more interested in hearing Andy Murray's opinion about women issues than actual women.
I know.
So
they really are.
But you know what? I just gotta put it out there. You know what? And in regards to Andy Murray tennis, look, I have long had the belief that Andy Murray is way too headstrong, and that has been proven in many instances from his conversation from coaches, whatever the case may be. Andy Murray had back surgery, right? Back surgery, right? I didn't even realize that he did like years ago. I mean, like when it was happening, I didn't realize that's why he was off of the tour.
Yep.
And Andy Murray, let's be 100, like I said, he ain't the top three, right? He ain't, right? He's half. With him and Stanley together, they could pull it together. Top four. But I'm just simply saying, and Andy Murray pushed himself beyond the limit to become like a Nole and a Divadal, right? He was following that model. He's going to grind you out on the baseline. He got no problem. He going to give you the funky, wonky second serve, you know, from the WTA. He don't give a shit. He's going to junk you till the day cows come home from the back of the base. He pushed his body to the limit. His body said, bitch, you're done. You're done. We can't do this. But he continued. He had back surgery. He came, I think he won the US Open afterwards. He get, you know, really thing. He won the Olympics twice, whatever the case may be. All cute. You know, he won Davis Cup. All that's Hall of Fame already, okay? You're in there. But he continues to want to push his body and not just push his body to be back on tour and playing, you know, like a Fonini level. You know what I mean? Pick a tournament, feel like he might be in it. He's pushing his body again to be at the very, very, very top against players who are still strong and younger guys. And his fans are expecting him. And he's, dude, you don't have that body. You're walking wonky. You're walking like you're on a horse. You are, and I don't understand this. But you know what?
He's learned his lesson.
Well,
I don't think he has.
I think it's hard. I think it's so interesting because that final push that Andy Murray made to get himself the number one and then winning the World Tour Finals, I think in the past, most players would be sort of satisfied with that. And then you kind of hear them kind of quietly go away and retire. But I think the narrative for the ATP has changed so much in terms of people feeling like they should and can be on tour for longer that I think in some ways it's a disappointment if you were to not try to return and take it to the next level. And to be honest, I saw somebody I can't remember who is a fairly well-respected commentator. He put Andy Murray as like fourth for the possibility of winning a slam next year.
Really?
You know what's so funny about that? I mean, I can't even laugh about it because we all know that the ATP is somewhat it's a complicated space. So knowing how to win a tournament is half the battle for some of these folks. And remember, even in the middle of Andrew's injuries, he had gotten himself almost to the quarterfinals of Wimbledon before he finally.
But here's the thing:
does that speak to his ability or the weakness of the tour? That's the true question.
A combination. I think it speaks to the fact that, I think we know that on the ATP side, experience is tremendously powerful, especially at slams. People ones who know how to do it end up in second week. And Andy Murray was that type. I think he basically rode his way in that last Wimbledon that he was in with experience. Because there were players that had the ability to take it to him, but they just never did. And so you're right. It's a combination. It's a combination of the people who have won really are special and unique, and they believe in themselves. And the ones who haven't, they really struggle to get over that hump. And so I'm not even surprised that somebody penciled in Andy Murray as a potential slam winner, potentially at the US Open. Because guess what? It's highly possible.
I doubt that. I'm going to put an asterisk to that Wimbledon run to say, one, it happened at Wimbledon. Two, Wimbledon is on grass, and it's Andy Murray's home place, and all the hype and whatever the case may be. And what I think is also what I think is a little bit different for the past couple of years, since 2 years now? He wasn't there last year, correct?
No.
It was 2017. Is that there are a few more younger guys who believe and willing and ready for an opportunity to basically step on the throat of one of these guys. They don't give two shit, and he is the weakest link.
I mean,
you
know what? Traditionally, you would think so, but he's not the one that the top he's not the one that the top young players fail to beat. I mean, he's the one that the top young players fail to beat. Andy Murray has a surprisingly good head-to-head against some of these other players that you would assume he should be able to, they should be able to overcome him because, according to you, he's the weakest link, but not necessarily.
But has his body? Well, I mean, I don't know. This new version of Andy Murray, whatever he has,
he's vulnerable.
He's vulnerable, and it's gonna be in Australian heat and best of 5. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if Andy Murray got very far.
Like I said, the hoopla and the hype around him at a Wimbledon is different. It's not going to be the same.
Probably gentler for him, and I guess he understands his body there. I think it's really challenging. I don't know what to say.
Well, at the very least,
still injured, and I don't see a change in the way he's playing. I don't see a change in his style of play to compensate for the fact that he maybe can't grind it out as much, which is interesting, which is strange because Andy Murray had that game before Lendl. He could return to a more sort of interesting style of play where he comes in and, everybody says he has all the shots. So I feel like he could do it. But when he got together with Lendl and settled into that sort of baseline grinding game, I think,
honestly, God, I think that's more him who did that and most of Lendl. Lendl's just like, if this is what you want, I can give that to you. But hey.
No, but I think Lendl asserted to him that was probably what was going to be essential for him to dominate a Rafa and a Nole.
No, fair enough, because that wasn't working for Federer.
No. Mm-mm.
And in other news, in regards to Andy Murray, we just know he won't fuck up a draw this time around because he didn't see this.
I'm not betting against that.
Well,
there
you know what?
Bada bing.
Well, I don't know. The other person who was supposed to be in Brisbane but withdrew, and we could talk about either this now or later, is Rafa. He was supposed to be there. He withdrew, but then showed up there.
Crickets.
So
that's so much I want to say, but I think I've already said all of this already. You know what?
Listen,
Andy Murray, let me just give you a little notes. The top guys take days off. They take months off. Okay? Follow the Diva model. Okay? Just don't play for months.
The Diva season
you want to dominate in, and then just focus.
Go for it, because go back and look at what Rafa has done over the last year and a half on hard court, and then come and talk to me. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. He don't play.
I think we just need to. I think the
people don't believe in facts; they believe in fiction.
Wait, but I just think we have to I think the reason why I've been thinking more and more about how things get covered and why people get confused, and I think it's just what people fail to say. You know, I think people proactively say Federer chooses not to play clay. And so there's a sense that Federer has actively chosen to withdraw from a part of the season. Whereas I think the way it gets covered with Rafa, it's like he's reluctantly forced to not play certain seasons. But the reality is that if you think about even just the last year, he's been quite proactive about not playing hard court. And I think that's fine. I think that this notion that we should be sort of surprised by Rafa's schedule, I think Rafa's been fairly open about what his preferences have been. And how he scheduled himself for the last at least 2 to 3 years.
But here's the thing: despite that being the case in evidence and him saying that, people still don't accept it.
What do you mean when they don't accept it? I don't understand.
Because I mean, the reality of the situation is just like, for example, last year, right? He showed up at I don't know if he played Brisbane. He may have played Brisbane and pulled out or lost early last year. And then he played Australian Open and that was it, right? He didn't play again until I think he played a Davis Cup match. And then for the clay, he went into the clay season. Didn't play anything after French Open. He won. And then he played Wimbledon. Thought he was going to win. He lost in the semifinals. Played one hard court match. Showed up at the US Open. And then that was it for the year. It was done and dusted. Didn't play another thing for the rest of the year. Right? He showed up again and said he's carrying an injury. In fact, he had surgery, but I guess nobody believed that because nobody really questioning about that, right? We just saw that wheelchair picture and whatever the case may be. And this is pretty much how, so he has had months off. But then it's also, he puts it out there, you know, this is injury.
That's what I was going to say. The difference is Federer does, Federer absolutely says, I'm not playing clay because I don't want to play clay. He has been honest about that.
Or if he's not playing a tournament, any tournament, just like, look, it's just not right for my body. I need to listen to my body.
Sure. But as far as clay, because Andrine's like, you know, we talk about it differently when Federer skips this part of the season as opposed to Rafa. But I think the major difference there is that Rafa enters tournaments and withdrawals and starts playing or doesn't enter at all, pulls out before the draw or whatever, or he's withdrawing mid tournament with an injury. There's always an injury surrounding there. So whereas on paper, given what he's played and what he hasn't and what he's withdrawn from, I think only twice, and one of them was just this week, have we ever heard Rafa say, I'm not playing because my body needs a rest. It's always been an injury, always. Not, I don't want to, my body, it's not usually that. It's not usually that straightforward. There's always an injury attached, and that's the reason. He always makes it seem like if I didn't have this going on, I would be there. Whereas Federer has said, I'm not going to win. I'm not playing. Like,
well, I think this time around he withdrew because he has a torn something, and
he has a torn muscle apparently in his thigh, and he has been told that if he plays, it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But it doesn't negate the fact that he
didn't play in the tournaments.
Listen, he's
suspiciously injury prone every time throughout the year, except on clay.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say. If you are carrying these injuries that are forcing you to not be able to play, where the hell do they go come clay season? Or are you getting them all during clay season? Like, his
body can handle clay better. But you know, the thing about it is, I mean, if we think about the way, if we think about that, what Aga said about how the possibility that every single person is playing with injury or with pain, that's just the nature of tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Then
really, the nature of being a professional athlete.
Probably, right? The nature of a professional athlete. Then really what it does say is that what it signals is that people are always injured, and it's just a choice about when they're going to let the injury interrupt their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you want to believe that language, I think Rafa is always injured. And then he just evaluates when the injury is going to be problematic.
Yeah.
Makes a choice that way, right? So if you're always carrying an injury, hard court doesn't work for you. And people are better on hard court than you, right? Their game matches up a little bit better. So it doesn't pay to play. And then you end up settling into a season that actually is really, that rewards you because it has so many points.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's great about the clay season for him, is that he knows he's the best on clay, and the point reward system is great. And so he has the opportunity to accrue
5,500 points.
5,500 points on a surface that is his best surface, even if he's injured.
Right.
So I think he makes a really calculated choice to do that.
And I just wish he would say that.
But rather than
I wish people would acknowledge that that's what's happening.
I certainly don't think he would, because have you seen the punishment when players proactively decide not to play? I think it's much more effective PR wise to show up at a tournament, do the woeful press conference about the fact that you can't play, because then the tournament looks worse if they come at you. It's far easier for the tournament to attack you when you don't even show up.
Sure.
What we've seen happen with other players who are more proactive and more sort of like responsible in that way for them.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Right?
I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of it. That's it. I mean, because it's clearly something. Yeah. So let's acknowledge that it's something.
It's a deliberate thing. It's been going on for far too long.
I know. And I
pretend like it is like
people were upset with Ben.
Like, oh my God, like,
listen, Rafa's not stupid.
I think people were upset with Ben Rothenberg for sort of detailing the withdrawal patterns, but I think really what he was saying, for your problems with Ben Rothenberg, you know, whether you have problems with him or not, I think all he's saying is that this is just a strategic withdrawal that's unspoken, which is that this person withdraws from hardcourt tournaments because he has evaluated that it's not useful for him to do it, but he won't say that, right? And so that's all that it is. It doesn't even have to be scarred.
And by extension, if somebody chooses not to play at a certain place, don't drag them because they're trying to save and preserve their body. I think that is the other thing to say. Look, whether Rafa wants to play wherever, the less of I see Rafa, better it is for me. You're gonna show up at Lever Cup though. Tell you that.
Do what you can.
And it's gonna be great. We're gonna love it because we love it exactly. And Roger on court together. So
just that. One, this whole warrior narrative bullshit is problematic because it ain't true. It's just these warriors, it's just like any warrior, right? They pick the battles that they know they're going to win on a surface that they know they're not going to fight every fucking battle, right? They're not going to. They're just not going to. A man isn't going to go in the forest with a sword fight. He's going to have a sword fight in the forest because too many trees can get in the way. So he could get this shit done on this clay coat surface, and there's no need to kill a pound around his body.
Well, I think it's fine for people to decide and say their schedule out loud.
I think that's fine too because it's their body. I mean, you know,
you're old.
Yeah?
Just say it. Just say, my body can't take it anymore. I'm going to play a surface that's better for my body. I'm always injured, but on that surface, the injuries don't mean as much. And then move on. That's a better
But continue to drag Federer for trying to do the same thing too. Hey,
or continue to drag any other player that is of a certain age who's being proactive in that way. I think it's really ridiculous and pointless to do that. I mean, I'm waiting for Novak to finally realize that he's 30 plus.
Oh no! His body's getting
hunger and energy just not there anymore. And I don't. And it is okay for us to say these. And I find that so crazy. Like I hate commentators being like, "Oh my God, this guy won this tournament 10 years ago. Why isn't he supposed to be up to doing it?" No, he's not. And years ago, he did all of
right. Anyway,
I don't get this. I find it so ridiculous.
So Brisbane was full of information, right? It's Casey Corey looks like he's fit. He was able to. I know, but
exactly. Let's accept that for what it is. Okay, but now,
you know what? He was able to get over the Medvedev hump, which is Medvedev had taken out a lot of good players for the week. Yes. So that's actually a good.
And it was a 3-setter as well. So Medvedev was feeling himself.
So, you know, I'm always looking, if it can't be Federer, I always want Kay to win the Australian Open because it's nice to win your home slam. So I think that's good news for Brisbane. And Rafa did show up and did the PR jazz, some clinics.
The tearful crying.
Cut it out.
If I could, I would. If I could, I would.
I mean, it's helpful when they show up. Do some clinics, do the good PR work. So I think the tear will probably sort of repair itself well enough to grind out 5 sets.
But let's be honest, is anybody going to be surprised if it doesn't and he doesn't play?
I don't think what we shouldn't be surprised is that Rafa tried to show up in Brisbane and try to win the whole Melbourne is trying to win the whole thing.
No, I don't think he's going to withdraw. I think he's going to try to play and potentially because remember he win the whole thing. He withdrew in the quarterfinals against Cilic last year with an injury. So I think he's going to play with the injury until he cannot play, which is exactly what happened to him at the US Open as well against Del Potro, right? So his pattern is not to withdraw from a slam. His pattern traditionally has been to play it.
But you know what? Here's the thing.
So I think he'll play.
While we're on this subject, rather interesting. People out here dragging the roof. Why didn't y'all drag Rafa? Because Rafa dragged Cilic. Cilic was on the cusp. Let me tell you something. If Vidal had decided to finish that match, Cilic was not going to be in the final. Cilic was not going to be in the final. Huh? Delpo had to give his all, and it was a retirement that got him into the finals, and he couldn't do no. See, this is why I don't support these fiction writers out there telling you.
Nobody can drag. Listen, it's better to drag a roof. The roof don't have no fans.
The roof ain't fuck up.
The roof does have fans. Cut it out.
I've been in Melbourne. It was Diva now. Y'all didn't watch that match. Cilic was sweating bullets, and it was not because of that.
You didn't know if he could get over the hump. You know what I mean?
He didn't know whether he was gonna get it over the hump. You know Cilic. Y'all know Cilic is sketchy. Sylvan Facet. Y'all know that motherfucker is sketchy. You know who won Davis Cup for? You know who won Davis Cup for Croatia, right? Bona Choric. Bona. It was Pona Choric, people. So y'all out here, listen to me. That's my narrative for 2019. If I hear one of you motherfuckers talk about the roof one more goddamn time,
I know.
I'm gonna be like, leave it out.
I think the next time we all get together for a podcast, we should have the roof as a guest.
Oh yes.
Have him or her talk about the different
totally.
Boom. Closing and open.
Oh my god.
Meanwhile, these people talking about roof. I hope these people know Serena won most of Australian Open under the roof. But you know what? We ain't got time to talk about that.
But Serena's the dominant champion, whether the roofs are on or off. So let's move on.
I'm just saying. She's an indoor queen in Melbourne. She's an indoor queen. Ask Federer. You want to talk about Roofgate? Ask Federer. Federer got a roof story for y'all, bitches.
Leave Federer out of this. So let's talk about Doha. I mean, we kind of did a little bit.
Yes. Just to mention, unfortunately, Del Potro has withdrawn from
already the Australian Open. Whatever, dude.
And the Australian Open, essentially.
Yes, because of his fractured kneecap has not healed. Mm-hmm.
I think it's good. I think it gives himself a chance to get to the US Open final.
Oh shit!
Listen, okay. That's smart.
When do you Open final again? Because he got there last year.
He likes that surface, so he's like,
but really, this is January, and you're talking August. I can't with you.
But he has to defend. He has to defend Indian Wells. So
he's not defending Indian Wells. Stop being silly.
All right. Okay.
So Doha. Roberto
Batusta Agut. Our favorite humorless Spaniard.
Skeletor won there. He beat Tomas Leggy Berdych. I just care that Berdych is back, and I care that he had on that horrible shirt that he was taking pictures with, and I want to see him on court wearing that thing with skulls and looks like a bad Banksy.
No, you don't. No. We have Fabio Fellini for that garbage. We don't need that. Berdych, since Berdych got with his wife, Berdych fashion has been elevated. She has cleaned him up. And we ain't got time for that messy. Yes, we know.
You know what's good about Berdych, though? I think similar to what you were saying, Janina, he looks very thin. You see his face is very long and gaunt. So Berdych, I think Berdych is someone to really watch out for because he's super fit.
He is rested.
Time off the tour. We know time off the tour means a lot.
Works wonders.
It works wonders because you know what?
He can
if we
see
go
a
with
psychologist about Federer.
Well, no, but if we go with the theory that everybody's always a walking injured player, time off the tour lets their body fully rest up, fully get better, and then they also get to work on aspects of their games that they're struggling with. So I think Berdych has a really good shot this year. I don't know if it's a slam, but definitely maybe another Masters title if he can. I think it could be good for Berdych. And you know how it is when you
stop it.
No,
to the semifinal of a major. Look at you.
You know when you leave a tournament, you know when you leave the tour and you return, you were reminded that you like this thing. I think that's really
Kevin
helpful.
Anderson had a good healthy run. He could be the new Kevin Anderson this year because you know what?
No, Kevin Anderson is the Berdych of ever. So we just
I need Berdych to take back his spot.
Yeah,
I can't with Katie, lady, whatever dog. No.
Yes, exactly. We want
Berdych, I need you back where you belong. Okay.
We experience
where does he belong?
Back in the top 10.
A permanent fixture to lose when he needs to and occasionally provide the upset.
Listen, I am perfectly happy with a fit Berdych winning anything he can win. He deserves it. He's been there for a long time. And when he is on, he's on and he can beat anybody.
Well, great for you and your small goals, Janina. Great for you and your small goals. But Andrina and I are thinking about bigger picture here.
I think he's more dangerous than you're giving him credit for. That's what I'm saying.
And of course, being in the top 10 makes him dangerous. He's not gonna roll up in there winning small tournaments.
Bullshit. We know damn well being in the top 10 don't mean shit for Berdych. He was there for a decade and didn't hardly win.
Didn't do anything.
This is a fresh, refreshed Berdych. So I don't think it's gonna matter what his ranking is so much. He's healthy. That's it. He's healthy, and that's what's going to be the biggest deal.
And he had a nice road. He had a nice road to the final. I think he had a very nice road to the final. So I think good on him.
I mean, his first tournament back in how long? Like he's been MIA long with Murray.
Yeah.
and he's in a final. So well on to him. And he can be skinny. He's still pretty.
And Roberto, and let's not spare a word for Roberto. As you said, the humorless Spaniard. He beat Novak in 3 sets, I think, in the quarterfinal stage. And Novak is now 0-3 in the last 3 tournaments.
Great. I love to hear that. Usually means that he's going to show up at a major and wipe everybody on the court. But, I like it when he loses. Yeah, I'm petty like that.
I think it is interesting about Novak, though, because first of all, Novak, I think the only difference between the outcome of that match is that Novak finally encountered somebody who was willing to take it to him and win. Because didn't our new Czech player, he also had Novak on the ropes, no?
Which Czech player?
O's favorite beautiful Czech player.
Tsitsipas?
No, Fukosovic.
Oh,
he's Hungarian.
Is he Hungarian? Sorry, yes, Hungarian. He's so beautiful. But Fukosovic, he should have beaten Novak. He really should have. He should have done it in 2. And again, somehow or another, Martin's game matches up with Novak. Because I think Novak lost a set to him at the US Open as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just like, I just think that he finally encountered, and the same thing, he was struggle tennising for Novak anyway, throughout. He came back, he was always down a set. Novak
basically struggled the entire tournament except to Demers, which we know he is. He lost a set to Fukosovic, and he lost a set to Basilashvili.
Yep. And so I think RBA was just one of those, let's just call him one of the person who was steady enough to say, listen, and actually, weirdly enough, the one player who Novak wasn't down a set to. so when Novak was cracking his racket in the second set, I was like, why is he cracking his racket? You're up a set already. Like, you know what I mean? It was the reverse of where you'd been all week. And I thought for sure he'd take care of it. But who knew RBA would sneak the tiebreak and then win in the end, but it's hard to ever say anything about Novak, right? Because it's like
it's true. But I do think often, but it's funny because again, sometimes we always expect champions to relive their past glories, right? Because he had an amazing 2018 in the second half, right? He just blitz through everything, and we thought he's going back to 2011, 2014, was it? I don't know, whenever. Form all over again. But he has been crashing and burning in the most unexpected places against the most unexpected people. Like you would have thought that, that in the Paris Masters finals, this would have been the last place for him to fall over to a catching off.
In a final.
In the finals, right? I mean, if he had fallen over in the middle of the week, it could have been like whatever, form break, whatever.
That just goes. That's mental weakness.
But this is where he's making his bread and butter. His bread and butter is to be delivering in these big matches against these tiny people. You know what I mean? Because he's rolling done and dusted people, and there is nothing injury related why he's quote unquote struggling, if we can say that's the thing, like struggling. Because he didn't win a set against Kachanov or Sasha. He lost in straight sets.
I think it's interesting. It's curious to see, because we all expect Novak to return to dominant Novak, but I think it's hard for people to be dominant in their 30s. I mean, we know that, so we know that it's like up and down. So I'm curious to see what the ride for Australian Open will look like for Novak, and whether he will be untroubled or whether he'll, we'll have some interesting moments, because God knows we need it.
We do need it. We definitely need it. All right, what else do we have? Hopman Cup.
Hopman Cup is the last, huh?
So I'm just gonna put it out here. The 100, who reels is. Yeah, we should have taken Michael Moore instead of Francis Tiafoe. We should have.
You know what? You're right. I didn't even consider it. You are so right.
The way things going, we didn't even need Francis Tiafoe. We should just let Serena try it on her own in the mixed doubles. Girl, do your best. Because, it was just like, brother. This Hopman Cup is the kind of thing where you sort of like test your game. You work things out. It's not that serious, kind of serious, You come out there with a plan. It is, you know what I mean? It's not as intense, because there's 3 guaranteed singles matches that you would play, right? So maybe this time you work on whatever. Don't know the fuck Tiafoe got bageled by Cameron Norrie. Bageled by Cameron. You let a scrub. A scrub bagel you?
Maybe the moment was too much. Maybe just being around.
Hopman Cup is not a moment. Stop.
But you had 3 moments. But in fact, 6. Goddamn. You know what? Okay, the Sissy Fat match, whatever. Cameron Norrie, okay. I can't forgive that, but let's forgive that. But you didn't even try to drag Federer. The motherfucker is 37. You know what I mean? You have played him competitively like twice. You didn't try any. Goddamn. Look. Seriously. I'm telling you. And he's not even interested to even be a fuckboy. That's the worst part about Francis Tiafoe. I'm just like, I don't even know why I should even be there anymore.
Stop it.
Because if you're not doing anything interesting on the court and you're not doing anything off the court, why should I even bother?
I think he's quite fun off the court. People enjoy him, but he didn't perform well on court.
Well, I'll tell you a Hopman Cup Tiafoe story.
What?
Oh.
So I'm watching it, right? I'm watching it on TV, and it's Tiafoe and Tsitsipas. And Jason walks in, and he looks at the TV. He said, "Who the fuck is this?" I said, "What?" So right? I wish you could see his face. And he goes, I said, "It's Tsitsipas," because I knew. He goes, "But what's the other one? And who is who?"
What? One's black and one's white. Let's make it easy.
But I think he wanted the name to tell him something. I was like, "It's Tiafoe and Tsitsipas." He was like, "What's a Tsitsipas? What is that?" I was like, "He's
unwashed hipster." That's why the Tsitsipas is.
He was like, "You know what?" He just kind of threw his hands up and walked away. I said, "Tiafoe's the black one."
It's true. If you had seen the name, you mightn't show who to assign which name to.
You're horrible. I don't know.
That was my Tiafoe highlight.
I don't know what that story says, but I think it says more about you than Tiafoe.
Oh, but I have another.
That was the most
Wow,
interesting
look.
thing that happened surrounding him. That's all.
Oh, okay, people. Serena, you all look like you're going to the wrong event. Okay, don't know why, but couldn't someone get Tiafoe a proper tuxedo? He looked like he borrowed that from somebody. Like
Well, maybe he did.
I can't with this mess. But you know what? Muggs looked real good. She looked real good at that event. And I gotta say, she wasn't wearing denim. And in that picture, she was in that hot red dress. Okay. Muggs, she might not be focused on her tennis, but she's focusing on her fashion, and that's all I wanted from Muggs.
Oh my
God. On her fashion.
Well, let's just round out Hopman Cup by, well, first of all, let's talk about Serena and Federer. Okay. So did everybody get to see it?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't see that. What I saw was Roger Federer and Belinda Bencic versus Serena Williams and Frances Tiafoe. That's what I saw.
Oh my God, I can't take you real.
This idea about Federer versus Serena. I mean, come on. We live in a wall of fucking Trump who has been destroying language. Can we not say this kind of bullshit out? Can we not put that out there, people? We're smarter than that. We can do better than that.
Well, I have to say it was very helpful to get people interested because people thought it was a battle of the sexes. I saw
they did, didn't they? People
I have to say, you know, because everyone knows my tennis love. So it's always interesting the moments people tweet or Facebook me about tennis. And
right.
I mean, just like, goddamn.
Somebody tweeted me the article. I think some fashion magazine did a piece. I didn't even read it. Did a piece about, it's the new battle of the sexes.
Really? that happened?
I was just going to say that. That's exactly what I was going to say. That happened.
Yes, it really was. It was a new battle of the sexes.
This is why we never have nice things. This is why. Yeah.
I responded. I was like, guess what? They get to have partners this time. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
But you know, it's like, listen, when your sport gets in the mainstream media, you just have to deal with the misunderstanding about it.
You know, you know what? No, you see, that's not my problem. My problem is that people who are involved in tennis promote that shit. They are the one, they're getting that energy from those people.
Are they? I hope not.
I think that's what it is. Look at any place where the public has misunderstood something. You just check your timeline for the people who talk about tennis and who cover tennis, and you see the same mess in their words. It wasn't Roger versus Serena. It definitely wasn't.
Well, someone, and I don't even remember who, was like, wow, I heard that was like the biggest Hopman Cup ticket sale ever. Is anyone really surprised by that? Hello, these are the two biggest seat fillers in the world of tennis. Nobody hands down sells more tickets than Serena and Federer. Nobody. Like, what? I mean, it's news because that's what tennis does. They talk about sales more than any other sport. It's so weird, but it's really not news. I mean, it was kind of like a given.
But you know what's interesting about that, right? They talk about sales and then they get upset with us when we see nobody's watching Shenzhen, right? They get upset. Like, when you say go on your timeline, just go on your timeline and put up a comment and say, God damn, nobody's watching Shenzhen. It's empty.
Listen, the
50 million people will rush and go at your face, but then they turn around and be like, oh my God, Italian, whatever, women's tournament, men's tournament sold the most tickets. Like, how am I supposed to care? When do I talk about fans' engagement at the actual tournament? Makes no sense. But anyway,
the best thing about that was the interview when it was over, when they were interviewing Federer and then said, but this is a big deal. Let's acknowledge this moment and bring Serena back on court. So there were two really good things about that. The two of them gushing over each other, which was in my timeline, some people felt that wasn't genuine, and that was interesting to me. I didn't get that impression at all. I saw a few different people saying like, oh, they were trying too hard to compliment each other. it seemed like they were looking for the right thing to say.
Have they heard Fed talk about Rafa? I'm just asking.
I was just like, I'm thinking, did you watch the same thing that I watched? Because I didn't find it disingenuous at all. I thought it was really nice and refreshing. I was way more interested to see what both of them had to say about each other afterwards than watching them. I wanted to hear, because in my mind, I have always felt like Serena's serve would hold up very well against anybody. And I wanted someone of Federer's caliber who was playing her in a serious way to talk about it. I was looking forward to that. And I was glad that he did. And I loved that he was like, I'm nervous. This is Serena Williams. And I couldn't read her serve. And, the way that they were interacting and talking about each other. And how many times has it been said on this podcast? And then Serena says, I don't really know if I'm supposed to say this, but Roger Federer has one of the most underrated serves in tennis because it's good and you cannot read it. Hearing them talk about each other in that way, I loved it. Like, I was gushing. I could watch that over and over and over again.
I think they have the same person that they love, and they're both a huge fan of Pete Sampras.
Well, but it was nice, because I'm thinking, I've always kind of wondered, you hear certain players talk about when they're playing mixed doubles, how, they say, hit it to the girl, because that's going to be the weak spot, right? It's not a secret. That's how they play.
Nah, this time around, give it to Francis.
Exactly.
That is a weak spot.
Exactly. And we saw that. We saw exchanges between Federer and Serena back and forth, and they're hanging tough with each other. And, and then who changes it up? Federer. I'm going to hit it to Tiafoe. Who fucks it up? Francis. I mean, it's usually the other way around. I mean, just to watch that from just the pure dynamic of watching these two people who are the best of the best in their respective jobs, that was special. And it is weird that they've never played. However, what I got out of that? Man, fucking team up you two for a mixed doubles event.
Well, I think the thing to me about the sort of question about Hopman Cup is how is it though that you have these two players who've been around for a really long time, and this is the first time you set this in motion?
Well, Serena doesn't typically play Hopman Cup, does she?
But you don't need to. It doesn't have to be a Hopman Cup.
She has played it.
This is like a third or fourth time.
Yeah. So, it's interesting because, I've been looking at a lot of nostalgia for Hopman Cup.
She played here in 2015, I'm almost sure.
Yeah. And, and I think
in the past some time ago. Because she's won it before. I'm almost sure she's won it.
Yeah. And I think Federer started I think he's played earlier, but then he's really only come back for the last 3 years, right? Because he has a contract here. But I just think it's really interesting because it's almost like tennis has to accidentally stumble on its greatness.
I know. I know, right?
Why wouldn't you look down on a piece of paper and said, hey, we need to figure out how to get Federer and Serena on the same tennis court. How do we make that happen? Or we need to figure out how to get Rafa and Serena on the. Do you know what I mean? It's and so suddenly everybody's like, oh, woe is Hopman Cup. And I'm like, but they haven't used Hopman Cup to their advantage. And I don't know, it's just really strange to me because now everybody's like, you'll never get something like this again. Why aren't we trying to save Hopman Cup? You know why? Because you haven't maximized it. You finally maximized it, but it felt like it was even accidental. And people are like, oh, wait a minute. Wait, Federer and Serena are going to be on a court together? What?
No, right? People are just stupid. Tennis is stupid. Let me run this shit.
That's the part of it that I think is so strange, is how tennis doesn't really understand what it has until it's leaving. And then they sort of recognize the magic that it is.
Right about that.
I think it's related to how tennis coverage happens, is that it spends so much time being negative sometimes.
Serena won this twice with Marty Fish and James Blake.
Yeah.
2003, 2000.
So the issue has probably been they've not been there at the same time that often.
Yeah, and when Federer won it with Martina Hingis, this was in 2001.
No, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it's not possible. What I'm saying is that if you have an event like this, you can structure it so that you get the matchups you want.
Yeah,
to highlight your sport. So when people look at the Hopman Cup and talk about how amazing it is, which it has been, it has had some interesting moments, I feel like you could be much more constructive in putting together things that are going to generate press and generate fan engagement. And I think that they haven't always maximized that. And so now in this kind of moment of nostalgia, they're suddenly seeing the value of Hopman Cup. When for quite some time, I felt like they were sort of dismissive of it. It was just like a hit and giggle kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now people are like, but it's one of the few times that there's a co-ed tournament and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, you guys didn't paint it that way, though.
And y'all are interested in equal women's work when y'all didn't want to pay them the money. When y'all turn around and then talk about women don't deserve equal pay, but you want them to go to an event like this where they're half of the draw.
But I don't understand how does that connect to the larger theme, though? I don't know.
No, my point is just that, it's very that tennis always, the idea that you were speaking about, that tennis keeps missing the point of looking down and the thing and whatever. So they don't value this until all of a sudden, and then they want to value this now all of a sudden today, and then they turn around tomorrow and then say, oh, some of them say like women don't deserve equal pay in this regard, in this sport. So it's like, I don't understand. Tennis is always on two different, talking about the same thing, but it's always of two different minds, two different opposite points.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, it was really great, but I kept thinking to myself, how come you guys haven't staged this so that you would have gotten this sooner, or staged other
events, because it doesn't have to be Hopman Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to recognize who your stars are and figure out ways to create
right. I mean,
they can be together.
Exactly. You pay these players to come and show up, right? You do that. So you know what? Let the powers that be say, hey, play mixed doubles here. Just do it. Yeah. Just do it. Ask them to do it. They can say no. And you know what? As far as we know, maybe they have said no. But at a Masters Series event or something like Indian Wells, where a lot of the singles players play doubles, play mixed doubles.
Well, actually, I thought it was interesting since they're playing Fast 4 here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is something they can add to the mixed event because it doesn't take up that much of time.
Right.
So that's what I was kind of excited about this. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting, because the larger question is like in sort of Hopman Cup and people recognizing the value that Hopman Cup suddenly has, and now it's like the question becomes, what
are we going to keep it? Is it coming? Is it going?
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, right away there's this question of, the ATP Cup and everything. But I was like, and Laver Cup. But I was like, what you could do? There's no reason why you can't introduce a woman's version of the Laver Cup.
I've said that from the jump.
I don't see why that's not possible. People are so busy being upset about it, but I don't see why we don't understand that the viability of the Laver Cup and what makes it attractive could easily work on the WTA side as well.
And because things are happening that cannot happen on the tour, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
or in some weird ways it can, but right, because there's usually, same thing, same pairing, same people going up against each other. I think it could be really fascinating. So I don't know. I just, it was interesting to watch the excitement that people had to see Federer and Serena play across from each other.
I mean, I was part of it. I loved it. I love the pictures that came out of it. I love the selfies that came out of it. I love the interviews that came out of it.
About kids? I thought that would have been the obvious question people would have asked. Like,
I saw cute. I don't think they talked about kids, but I did see a cute tweet from Tony. He said, are the Federer kids going to be in the stand with Serena's baby because people are going to go nuts, which is true, but I don't think it happened. I didn't see any of the Federer children there.
I never think Olympia is even interested in tennis.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But
sometimes she's following the ball back and forth, and then she's just like,
Yeah. So I mean, I have to say I agree with Janina. I mean, my thing about it too is I don't know if Serena and Federer have a natural friendship, but I definitely think they have a natural respect for each other. That's always super clear.
For sure.
I think that's what,
at the very least they can talk. They can talk tennis in technical terms.
Yeah,
and that is very insightful and interesting. I don't know what kind of personal thing.
I don't need kumbayas.
Exactly.
Sure.
I don't know what. When I was reading that online, I was just like, what did y'all expect them to do? We wanted Federer to say, Serena, can I braid your hair?
But you know what? No, here's the thing. No,
like,
I'll tell you what it is. I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. Very rarely does Federer say things and we don't believe him. We believe that what he's saying is genuine.
Most of the time, yeah.
Most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That can't be said for everyone. So that being said, I don't know that if that was, say, Nole, and I'm not picking on Nole, I'm just saying Nole. If that would have been him on the other side of the net in that interview at the end, and he was saying that he was nervous because he's going, I don't know, this is Serena Williams and I have match point. I don't know that I would have thought that to be genuine, but I believed Federer. And I feel like he is always given the opportunity, he will be open. And he's not as guarded and worried about saying the right thing to please everybody, I guess. I don't feel like he's that person. He will say truly what's on his mind. And I just didn't feel like it was calculated. Whereas I think with some other people on the tour, that interaction wouldn't have been genuine. Like, I had no reason to believe, because we know Federer will say, like, yeah, I get nervous. Like, he says that. You don't ever really see it on court in his body language, so to speak. You might see a couple double faults or whatever, but you don't usually outward see his nervousness. But he'll talk about it, whereas a lot of other players don't. They just kind of, well, no, I'm just focusing on my game. Whereas Federer will go, well, yeah, it's match point and you're serving and you're thinking, I don't want to fucking double fault, like he'll talk about things like that. So for me, it just felt real. And I don't think you get that with everyone when they speak. I really don't. And another really good part about that was watching TFO and Belinda on the sideline while they were conducting that on-court interview, knowing that they didn't, like, no one wants to talk to us right now, and that's okay, because they looked about as entertained as I did at home. Like, they were into the moment. Like, they were like, you know what? This isn't about us, and it looks pretty cool.
I mean, I think that there's some interesting dynamics by people who I saw who were really uncomfortable seeing Federer and Serena together on court. And I think it's really striking for people to recognize that really Serena is the Federer of her sport.
Yes.
In the WTA side. Like,
and that
Serena of his sport, whichever way you want to put it.
But I mean,
not only that, in terms of
who are entering it from Federer's side, because I found that hesitation, much of it from the Federer fan side.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I couch it that way. It could easily be the other way, but they are the leaders of their respective tours.
Right.
So it's not, because people
she's
like,
better.
And they transcend tennis.
Yes.
They both transcend tennis, but she's actually better. She's got the better stats, in
terms of her sport. Right. In terms of, and so it's, I think people's presumptions and anxieties and biases also come out when they look at them interact.
Yeah.
And so sometimes how you feel and what you're seeing is really more about you and what your own anxieties and issues are with the player.
And I don't know what the anxiety was all about, because I mean, like, why these two have not been in a room, not even just even about on the court.
For sure.
These two should have been in a room having a discussion ages ago. And
I know.
hope someone tried to figure that out.
They should put them on a platform and talk about what's it like to be the leaders in their respective sport.
Exactly.
And nobody's ever done that, really. I mean, that's, and so it is sort of interesting that they haven't, but maybe that just reflects the way the two tours are really going about their own way.
Well, right? I think it's a direct reflection of the fact that they don't interact.
Yeah.
We know this.
It really
the tours don't. I mean, they're friends. As far as the players, of course they interact with each other on some level because they're with each other week in and without, and they're in the same place so often. But as far as how they conduct business, they don't.
Well, no, I'm just simply saying that I guess it's probably because how people cover that someone within tennis, right? Any one of these idiots in tennis coverage, whatever case, be like, oh my God, can you imagine the conversation that Roger Federer and Serena sitting down and I'm leading that panel discussion that afternoon? That would be really interesting and whatever. But it's funny, but I think it's how the media within tennis perceive Serena and how they perceive Federer.
Yeah.
There's a completely different narrative. It says,
it's completely different.
Serena has to constantly prove her greatness every goddamn week, right? Roger Federer, his greatness is accepted, right?
I mean, even Andy Murray's greatness was accepted before he got a slam.
Exactly. So, it's almost like people are clamoring to hear what Andy Murray got to say, and I was just like, I don't know why.
No, but it is noteworthy.
I think that's what it is. It's not about them interact because I mean, how hard it is. I mean, like, why wouldn't they sit down for an afternoon with each other and have a discussion? I mean, they're both articulate people. They're both media trained and media savvy, and it's to talk about tennis and themselves. Why wouldn't they sit down to do that?
It was interesting because during the interview, Federer said something about how, well, we do have a lot in common. And I think even Serena was a little bit startled by that. And I was like, well, yeah. And because I think we never characterize them as having much in common in their dominance of their sport.
Listen, Federer is a press darling and Serena is the ice queen. That's how they're characterized in the media, amongst the media people.
Yeah.
So the thought, it sounds all great and good that you would get them in the room and sit down and have a conversation with them. But listen, the press is afraid of Serena for whatever reason. They do not. They do not interact with her the same way they interact with Federer.
I have been in press conferences with Federer and Serena, and the way in which I see it's Serena has reason to be guarded, right?
Sure.
She has all the great best of reasons to be guarded in one case of me. But there is a difference in how they engage her.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
They're afraid of her.
And it has nothing to do with being afraid of her. That's not what it
bullshit.
is. Nope. I mean, because here's the thing. You're a journalist. You expect there to be some sort of like iciness, resistance to be, because your job is to get some kind of salacious information out of this person, right? You expect that. You can't expect to be sitting on with every person you interview. It's almost like peaches and cream, having coffee with your friend and one.
Tennis, you do.
But that is absurd. No wonder we get these nasty.
I think that's really the challenge for tennis journalists, is to recognize that in some way that relationship should kind of be slightly combative. Like it's not, and I think they're always sort of surprised when it is, because they remark on it. Like, I didn't get the answer I wanted, or this person was like,
because I have been Federer is not easy going, whatever. He's very, I don't want to say combative, but he doesn't think twice to check a motherfucker. Be like, nope, you didn't say it. That's not what it is. He corrects these people all the time. So he's not. So I don't want to say.
But he is not viewed as aggressive.
But this has nothing. But my point is that this is not on the player. This is on the people in
how they interpret them.
It's how they interpret. It's the journalists. Because I'm just simply saying that I am surprised that that these two people, right? These two people who are carrying your sport, that y'all had to wait on the random selection of Hopman Cup to have a discussion about, to put them together. And y'all took away all the crazy reason, because right now I'm giving y'all free ideas. I hope y'all send me a check. I would have been trying to have an evening with Roger Federer and Serena. But you all had these people so many times at Wimbledon winning together for the evening. I mean, they've danced together. I mean, seriously. I mean, but you know what? Y'all, every time y'all see Serena y'all think she's the odd one out. She's the one she's the fraud. She shouldn't be here. Because let me just, you know why I think it's going to be a bad interaction? Roger Federer and Maria Sharapova. That's not going to be a fun evening. It's just not.
Well, they both haven't done the same thing for their sport. The only thing that you could say about them is,
even if you decided you want to put them together in the same room. But even
in terms of leadership, that's the weirdest thing, right? Putting them together would make sense because they were both brand ambassadors, right? They were both Nike people, so they did that Brazil thing together. But interestingly, they don't have the same relationship with their sport.
Yeah, y'all tried to look. Federer tried to help Nole out. Didn't happen.
You know what I mean? Like, it would make more sense to put Venus and Federer together and talk about the politics of having been on the Players Council for years. You know, you could put Serena together and Fed and talk about leading their sport comfortably for 20 plus years. You know, so it's really interesting. I mean, what you could say for Sharapova and Fed is like, oh, maybe you guys are the leading people who made money for the sport for a while. Right.
But here's the thing: you would have more people fighting to put that thing together. I know. As opposed to, because I mean, right about now, as Roger said, you have so many things in common. We have kids. We have to travel around with kids. We got lives. We are same age. We got to think about our bodies. We have body issues in terms of bodies breaking down, and we still want to be on top. That's why I want to hear from.
And then also their approach to the game is similar in his mind as well. Is their dominance is based on their willingness to control their own matches.
Exactly, and control it from the very beginning,
from the first serve,
from the serve onward.
It was fascinating. It was a little bit of a hint of
that is clicking. It's funny because it's almost a similar thing that we got from the Raja Divadal documentary, right? Yep. Everyone is trying to cast them as completely different beings, but they're the same animal. They're the same exact thing when it comes to their job. They have the same thought process. You know what I mean?
But we
want to control everything.
Making them
exactly, and it's not only our biases. We're projecting this narrative there that is not even. There's no evidence for it.
I know
there is nothing. There is nothing to support this thing. That these two people, why wouldn't they be able to come to be? They're rich. Rich people hang around other rich people at the very least.
Oh my god,
they got lots of money. Rich people don't hang with broke people. They don't hang with broke motherfuckers. Why?
Oh, funny.
They're in charge of their sport.
That was great. Anyway,
all right,
moving on. But anyway, I just have to say in terms of the Hopman Cup finals, it was really good. The mixed doubles, I was surprised that there is the tiebreaker ends and the person who gets to 5.
4.
That was
4?
It's brutal.
5. That was brutal. No. The tiebreaker. The tiebreaker doesn't go to 7. Tiebreaker goes to 5.
Yeah, it is brutal.
It's a mess.
Hey, look, Federer had that complete look. I don't know. Someone told it, and you know what? We should have more mixed doubles. We really should.
Yeah, it's fun.
So we can get. We don't have to be long drawn out matches because mixed doubles at Grand Slam events is no deuce point and final set tiebreaker, super tiebreaker. But anyway, I have to say it was nice watching Angie and Zverev play together because Zverev looked like interested in anything. All of a sudden, he was in control. He was like Angie, he was giving Angie and they worked well together.
Did they?
People say that's you are the only one that believes.
I've not heard that. You're the only person that said that. Everything I've seen, it was what is she gonna do to beat his ass in the hallway because he didn't show up?
People projecting onto this thing. They comfortably got to the finals, didn't they? They comfortably got to the finals. There was no doubt that Germany was going to get to the final. I think Angie won all of her singles matches.
Yeah. I think that what people were talking about was the final. He didn't show up in the final.
Yeah. He
didn't show up probably for the singles, but let me tell you something because
and that it was this overreach in the mix that caused them the final.
No, because all of those fiction and not facts. All of those Switzerland won the first set full love. Mm-hmm. All of them, because there was no deuce points and whatever the case may be, and final point tiebreaker, whatever the case may be, they were involved in all of the games.
But I saw some shots that were clearly Kerbers that Zverev just I'm gonna handle this, and he went into the net. So know your role.
maybe, but for me, I thought they played really well. Angie had some great highlights in that thing.
Hey, she had the shot of the tournament. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, they're around the post from Federer.
Yes,
I love that back and forth between them. That was great.
I loved it, and I loved her reaction, and that was fun.
I also love the fact that the Greek players beat the Benderers and then stole their gear. Stole their towels. Because who's not going to steal Federer's towel at
James Blake let us know that that's quite common. Everybody wants a Federer towel.
It's so typical of an unwashed hipster to try to steal a man's sweaty towel. James stole a brand new towel, okay?
Or so he says.
No, it was brand new. They got tons of them in their locker room. Trust me.
So he says.
Who doesn't want a towel with Federer's name on it, dude?
That's right. I want one.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I certainly do. But anyway, I thought that Sasha was definitely learning in the doubles because he was moving forward. He was coming forward. But it was look, they in the third set, because Zverev rallied around them for the second set to get it 4-1, right? Mm-hmm. And he figured it out. Go after Bencic, right? Because Bencic is afraid, right? Because even though it's women balls that they're playing with, you never know how hard he's going to hit the ball, right? And then, Federer is always like, come forward, girl. Go forward. Federer is always... And
how much did you love Belinda saying that Federer talked a lot?
Because it's so true.
I mean, but this is how doubles work. You're not mind readers. You need someone.
She kind of made it seem like I had a hard time concentrating at times because you talk a lot.
I think it was like because I felt I needed to, and I was like, "That's on you, bro."
Because I mean, you have 4 good players on the court, so anything can happen. I mean, Andrew's gonna make something out of nothing. Because there were shots where Federer was just like, "I'm gonna win this point." Andrew just like, "No, bitch, you're not." Like that around the post. I mean, like, that came out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, Andrew was fit enough to do that. So, I mean, like, and plus, the men don't play with the women, you know what I mean? So it's an unknown quantity. They don't even watch each other matches that much. So it was fun. It was really good. And Federer served for the match. Got broken at love. Creating unnecessary excitement and drama. That was unnecessary. It was unnecessary.
Well,
and
that's what he does, right?
Gives you unnecessary drama.
It was just only by they just won that match. It could have gone either because they were both at 4 points all. So, it was cool.
Okay,
I loved it.
So it's a good start to the tennis year. Not too many controversies, some fun storylines, positive storylines, as Federer likes to say.
No one killed anyone.
No one killed anyone.
Yeah.
There's no betting scandal yet, but we haven't got the Melbourne in it. And just when all the story comes out. That's when all the juicy details comes out. Nobody's concerned when they're all over the place. When everybody is in one place, that's when the drama comes out. Some way.
Yeah, that's the best part of
Melbourne.
So between now and Melbourne, they are going to finish out Auckland, right?
Sydney,
for the
men goes to Auckland.
Yeah, the men go to Auckland. Then there's going to be Sydney. And then that's it, no?
And I think there's Hobart. Don't forget
Hobart. Yeah, Hobart.
Oh, God, Hobart. That just sounds like an old man, doesn't it?
I just hope that Heather's there because that's her turn.
And there's Sydney. Both men and women are in Sydney. And there's Hobart for the women.
Yep.
All right.
Love it.
And that's about it for us, except we... So the Australian Open draw we are taping on Sunday. And it's going to be Thursday.
Friday.
Right now it's Sunday. That's what I'm saying. It's Sunday right now.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll be back kind of quick for the draw show on Friday. That will be live, and it will probably be somewhere around 9:30 or so, like always. And yeah.
Ooh, we're looking forward to it.
Our first draw show of the year.
Woo-hoo. Live draw show.
What will the theme be?
Animals.
Will we even have a theme? Real make a theme, y'all. Of course there will be a theme. Don't be silly. And the other thing that we have coming up that we decided, and we're going to make it public so that we have to do it sometime shortly after the US Open, Australian Open, we will do a live podcast and discuss surviving R. Kelly.
Yes, we will.
Watch it. I haven't watched it yet. That's your homework.
You and Reels, get on it.
Trigger warning, people. Trigger warning.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So we'll watch that. We'll gather
get-
our thoughts.
We like to discuss the social issues as well.
Well, we gotta help each other through these pop culture moments, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, we gotta help each other through these stressful moments. It's not a pop culture. Fuck pop culture.
Oh my God.
Because when everything is washing into one another, there's no distinction anymore. Okay?
I'm nervous about it. I feel like I'm going to be really angry. I haven't watched it yet, so we'll see.
You might be surprised.
I doubt it.
I know.
Okay.
And also, by the way, folks, if y'all want to save Hopman Cup, couldn't y'all say that? Couldn't y'all just so loudly say it? People don't just like put a tweet about it, because that ain't gonna help anybody. Okay, tell the people who. Okay, don't discuss office politics in the bathroom. Go to manager when you have an issue. Tell the boss. Okay, you and coworker X in the bathroom discussing about it, DMing each other isn't helpful. And then when this shit happen, y'all moanful about it and go talk about it. That's not helpful to anybody, okay?
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either, but that's fine. That's fine. So say goodnight, Reels.
Good night, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hope to meet more fans this year.
Why are you lying? Bye.
I'm glad you can't see my face. I'm so happy you can't see my face right now. Good night, folks. Bye.